everyone, welcome to A Little Bit of Monica. The footage you are about to watch today is a collection of footage that has been compiled after a very special event took place. This special event is the Realmathon Gala of Peace, which is a 48-hour readathon within a month-long readathon where the sole purpose is to be peaceful, to make friends, and to read as many books as humanly possible within a 48-hour span. So what did I do? I picked some of the books that I was looking forward to the most this month that were, short, and I put them on my TBR for the weekend. So we are going to roll the tapes of my experience reading through these books, seeing if I do manage to get through as many books as I was hoping for. There are 3 in particular that I was really pushing for. So let's see if I manage to get through all 3 of those books and if I get to fit anything else in as well. But for now, let's just go ahead and roll those tapes. Happy Gala of Peace. I am very excited to be starting this weekend off very strong with some incredible reads lined up. I'm going to be reading the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. These books are nice and short and sweet, and I am ready to be obsessed with them. I have heard incredible things about these books, but I haven't read them yet. I don't even know what the synopsis says. I'm going to go into all 3 of these completely blind, and I'm going to have the best time of my life. I just feel it. So I'm going to be getting some crazy points, hopefully, for my Monarch team this weekend, but stay tuned because I will have updates once I know what this book is about, because like I said, I've got no idea what I am getting myself into. But this is book 1 of the 48-hour readathon that I am trying to read as many books as I possibly can. So these short ones are going to be a godsend. So anyway, I will check in a little bit once I have made some progress. Good morning. It is like 8 o'clock, which isn't really that early, but I did stay up really late last night watching sprints for the kickoff of the 48-hour Gala of Peace. So I am a bit tired this morning, but it's time to get up because I have books to read. I have so many books to read and so little time to do it. Okay, there's actually a lot of hours. There's 48 hours to do this, but I have to get reading. I only got halfway through my book last night. I started Done and Dusted, and I only got halfway before I got just way too tired. So that's where I'm gonna be jumping back in this morning as soon as I get up and get ready for the day. At least I don't have to do a lot to get ready, but I am gonna be jumping back in for more reading. Hopefully I can wake up. I'm gonna have to make some coffee. Here's to the first full day of, well, I guess it's the only full day technically of the readathon since it started last night. So here's to Saturday full of nothing but reading. I'll talk to you later. Coffee has been acquired, so now I can plan to not get up from the seat for the next couple of hours. I went with a honey cinnamon type of coffee this morning. I don't know, it was just speaking to me. It's a very overcast day, which is just kind of dreary. So I have this coffee, and then I also have Done and Dusted. And while I was at it, because this is marathon reading day, I also went ahead and got Swift and Saddled and put it next to me so that I have more of a chance of not having to get up in between books. Because I am halfway through this, I literally have like an hour of audio left because this book is such a fast read. Like, it is so fast. And listening at 3 times speed definitely helps. So I am going to be jumping into this right now. And I guess I should give an update now that I'm halfway through, because I admittedly went into this without having any idea of the synopsis. So before I do jump into this, I will let you know, being halfway through, we're following Clementine Emmy Ryder, who returns home to Meadowlark, to the Rebel Blue Ranch where she grew up, and she is a barrel rider. She's a professional rider in competitions, but she is currently taking a break, but she's not really telling anybody why she's taking a break or what's really going on. But she returns home and ends up reconnecting with her brother's best friend, Luke Brooks, who is kind of like a thorn in her side kind of deal, but the two have instant chemistry. They're both immediately attracted to each other, but they have that butting heads kind of tension going on. And he's going to end up witnessing one of the reasons why she's taking a break from competing right now. And then he's going to help her out with like getting back into the zone of things. And I love the connection that they have. I love that they are trying to like figure out what they are and what they feel without too many prying eyes getting involved. But I also know that the tension is insane because they are keeping their connection a bit of a secret from the people in their lives. So that's where I'm at the halfway point. And I'm really liking the dynamics. I'm really liking the characters. I think they're fun, they're witty, the banter is fantastic, and I love the vibe of being on this ranch and like the horse care and all of this. It's so much fun. So now I will be jumping into it because I've done my update, and I will absolutely keep you updated when I am done with this one so that I can jump right into book 2. This book was so cute. Oh my god. Okay, so I finished it by 4:10 a.m., which is exciting. This is a fantastic start to my day. Especially because okay, here's the thing. Do I think this book was perfect? No. But did it fill me with so much joy and love? Yes. I'm giving this 5 stars. It's probably more like 4.5, but I'm giving this 5 stars for the pure joy of reading this. It was so quick. The story was just happening and happening. It was so freaking good. I love the arc of the relationship that we get. It's not necessarily a super complicated kind of relationship, but there is still some conflict that goes on because of the family dynamic, and I freaking loved it. I loved Emmy. I loved Luke. I loved getting to know the rest of the family and setting up for the next books and like obviously knowing who the next books are going to be about. But I cannot wait to be jumping right into the next one. I'm so excited that I get to start Swift and Saddled literally right now. But this was so much fun. Lila Sage, you and the cowboy romances. I loved it. And like objectively, yes, there are probably some things that I could be nitpicky about for this book, but I choose not to be. I choose not to be nitpicky because this book gave me just so much happiness. And also, here's the thing, I've been slumping the last couple of days and really struggling because I've been trying to read some Neck Alley arcs that are all thrillers, and like I'm just not in a thriller era right now. So getting to read a romance that is sending me into this like happy spiral is amazing. So anyway, finished this one, and now I get to jump directly into Swift and Saddled. I'm really glad that I went and picked this book up from my shelf earlier. Oops, I have a Amazon tag in here. Because now I can start this without having to get up from my couch, which is great. I still have some of my coffee left, so I'm going to try to finish that off. And then I will be making some progress in here. Eventually I'll have to get up to like eat lunch, I guess, but for now let's just jump in here. This one is going to be about Wes, who is one of Emmy's brothers, and Wes is redoing the guest ranch, like the guest house kind of thing. He's basically renovating it, and he's gonna hire Ada to do the interior design of everything. And this is like briefly mentioned in Done and Dusted, so like you kind of are, you know what's gonna come. And anyway, this is their book, so I'm very excited to be jumping in here, and I will update you later. But so far, what a good start to the day. It's lunchtime, and I can't sit on my butt and read all day long without eating, so I'm going to make myself a salad, and I have some other fruit that I want to eat before it goes bad, so time to make some lunch. Y'all, I'm blushing so hard. The wooing that is happening on these sprints right now is so funny. Leandra and I have a connection now, and I love that this is all unfolding on public sprints today. But this is such a fun development, honestly. And it's also fitting that I'm reading so many romances because, like, the romance is in the air, and this is just so funny. I feel like I can't do a vlog of this weekend without talking about this incredible conversation on sprints and the flirting going back and forth. I'm so honored to be a part of this. Yeah. Anyway, I need to go back to reading, but what a fun day this is turning out to be. I finished Swift and Saddled like literally 30 seconds ago. My brain is still like reeling from how wonderful this book was. This is another 5-star read, absolutely. I think I'm gonna sit closer to like a 4.5 in like more specific terms, but like round it up to 5 because one, I mean, there's a reason why I'm reading books really quickly this weekend, but like the fact that I wanted to read this in one sitting, I wanted to absolutely absorb this and devour it, and I did, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it. I think Wes and Ada are spectacular characters, and I'm gonna be real here. So I got a little bit nervous realizing that this was going to be a, like, not contractor, but like the interior design, like where she was responsible for overseeing the renovation of the ranch house, knowing that Wes was in charge and Ada would be working for him. I have read a number of books that have this exact trope, this setup of like, obviously it's like boss employee kind of thing, but specifically renovation of a family home, renovation, and the other person's, okay, I've read this too many times and not enjoyed how it has gone. I have read it too many times and felt like the dynamic was more toxic than anything, and I didn't like where the relationship went. There was usually a conflict that had to do with typically the girl's side where something about her career choice was put into question, and I just hated it, okay? But I did not hate it in this book, and that is honestly a victory. That is a success to me, because this specific type of story has just not worked in pretty much every time I've read it so far. But I loved this. I loved how it was done in here, and I think that's primarily because we get to see the strengths of both Wes and Ada, and neither of them and their like skill level, neither of them and their authority or their power of themselves was ever in question. And I love that. I love that so much. They were each other's greatest supporter and champion, and we never had to worry about one or the other of them feeling like they were going to be diminished in anything that they could do. And I feel like it's usually hidden in the like banter where they like kind of do subtle like comedic digs at each other. And I think that's part of where it gets rocky for me in other stories, but not in this one. I just loved it. I loved it. It was so good. And now I get to move directly into book 3. I actually don't have it with me right now. It's on my shelf, so I have to get up and go get it. But I will be starting Lost and Lassoed today. Am I gonna finish it today? Ideally, yes. But I can already feel my eyes getting really tired from reading nonstop for like many hours already. So I might take a little bit of a break. I gotta take a break for dinner soon. but I don't know exactly when I will start this. I know I'm going to be jumping into Lost and Lassoed like pretty soon, like tonight. I just don't know if it's going to be right now, or I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I might do some walking, but that's where I'm at. We're going straight into the next book. So that is 2 books down for the Gala of Peace. I need to submit them. I didn't submit the first one because I didn't feel like it, but I will be submitting both of these and continuing right on into the next one. This is probably going to be the most books I've read in a Gala of Peace, or like in these like 48-hour readathons. So I'm really excited for the rest of this weekend, but yeah, we're gonna see where we go when I pick up the next one. Good morning. It is a very rainy, dreary Sunday morning, but the 48-hour Gala of Peace is still happening. So I need to be reading books for my team. Kovu is here to keep me company. I also made myself a smoothie this morning because I was up super freaking late last night because I wanted to finish my book before the end of the night. And guess what? I did. I managed to finish Lost and Lassoed last night very, very late. It was like literally minutes before midnight. And I got this book finished. I think this is my favorite of the series so far. There is a new one coming out, I think next month. But so far, I loved this one. And honestly, this isn't even a surprise to me anymore because it's a single dad romance. And apparently in the last month or so, I've discovered that that is my sweet spot. I love a single dad romance somehow, and it was done so well here. Okay, specifically, I love single dad romances that are also small town romances, and like bonus points if they're on like a ranch kind of like rural setting. I loved this. I loved Gus and Teddy. I loved getting to see where their like enemies to lovers kind of dynamic goes throughout the story. Teddy basically becomes the live-in nanny for Gus's daughter, and obviously he is going to see a different side of Teddy that he didn't know even existed in her, and she's going to see a much softer side of him, and obviously things are going to develop from there. I loved both of these characters. I loved how fighty they were. I loved that neither of them had to necessarily change who they were. They just realized that there was softer sides to each of them all along. And ultimately, it was just an adorable story, and I'm obsessed. So I loved this book. And now I need to pick something else because the new one isn't out yet. So I have to completely change gears and pick something else to read. So for today, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to switch gears completely, switch from romance to horror. And this month I've been reading the novellas from Stephen King's different seasons. Now the first one was Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, which I read last week. And I was gonna read one per week, but I accidentally messed up and forgot to do it week 1, so I'm behind anyway. I think I'm gonna read Apt Pupil next, and I did get separate copies of these, so I can count them individually for this weekend, which is really exciting. So I'm gonna do Apt Pupil. I'm kind of terrified of this one, but I'm gonna give it my best go. And then after that, we'll see what happens, but I'll check in once I've finished Apt Pupil just because I know it's not gonna take too terribly long. I do have the audiobook for it, but I also have an e-copy. So I'm gonna be jumping into that one. And then if I have time, because today is a little bit busier than I had thought it was going to be, but if I have time later, I may just do the next novella as well in that collection and see what happens. But for now, it is Sunday, it is rainy. I do have a meetup later with some book friends that are local. We're going to a local bookstore and gonna just like chat, get coffee, whatever. So that's gonna be like the afternoon plan. But for right now, I'm gonna sit down with my smoothie. I'm going to read some Stephen King and hope that all goes well. But for now, let's just get reading. I honestly still can't believe that I managed to get through all 3 of these books in not just 48 hours, but I got through all of these in just about 24 hours, which is absolutely insane. I could never have imagined myself being able to do this with like honestly no preparation. I did 72-hour readathon last year and I prepared multiple days in advance knowing that for 72 hours I was going to be doing nothing but sitting and reading. For this readathon, I didn't really prepare other than knowing that I wanted to read these 3 books. It's not like I sat and prepared myself for days in advance. I actually had stayed up really late the night before and then the night after too. So I was like already going on very little sleep. I was struggling, but I managed to get through all 3 of the Lila Sage books in the Rebel Blue Ridge series, and now I am completely ready and very impatient for Wild and Wrangled book 4 that'll be coming out I think in April. Like I think it's less than a month away, which is very, very exciting for me. But I can't believe that I also got 3 5-star reads. Yes, some of them were more like 4.5, between 4.5 and 5, but Lost and Lassoed, this baby is still sitting at number 1. I have been sitting on this for a couple of days and trying to just kind of make sure that all of my reactions are still accurate, and this one is still my favorite, like 100%. But these other 2 still so freaking solid. I'm obsessed with these characters. I'm obsessed with the vibe, the ranch setting, just everything about it is so cozy and so fun, and I love the writing too. It's just so easy to kind of read and feel natural about. I love these books. The one thing I am a little bit more disappointed in is the fact that I never finished Apt Pupil by Stephen King, and there's a reason for that. It's because I DNF'd it. I got about halfway through and it's over 200 pages. Like it's a 220 page story, I think, which is a normal novel length Stephen King, but for him it's a novella. So this book was over 200 pages. I read over half of it, so I was able to count it for points for the Gala of Peace, but I never ended up finishing it because when I tell you I got on probably like a third of the way through and I started losing focus. I was like really struggling to pay attention and actually care about what was happening. It was just like a really deep, like, I don't know, like a darker kind of, I don't know, the themes and the concepts that were, it was just not something that I wanted to be reading in this like 48-hour readathon, like trying to read through things really quickly. I was just not having it. So I ended up putting it down and never picking it back up, which is a little bit disappointing, especially because this is one of the novellas in different seasons, which is the book club pick for this month, but it's fine. It's all fine because I did manage to get through 3 solid reads that are even longer than that novella was supposed to be if I had read the whole thing. So I am still very pleased with the weekend. I feel like I got an insane amount of points, and because it was the Gala of Peace, I did end up putting some of these towards positive points. I know I was in my villain era for like the rest of the month. I said that at the beginning and I am standing by that. Pretty much all of my books are going to negative attack points except for the Gala of Peace, because these 3 books were so much easier to put towards positive points because of the prompts that they fulfilled. So I did kind of go back and forth a little bit on those, a little bit more just for this weekend, but that is all. Like I can't believe that the weekend's already over, and it's been a couple of days that I have been able to like unwind from it and recover a little bit because I read so much that I kind of sent myself into a little bit of a slumpy spiral. But I am finally recovering from that, which is exciting because there's a lot of good books that I still want to be reading this month. But for now, that's the Gala of Peace. I am so excited to see how the rest of the month is going to go and how this readathon is going to turn out. Everybody is pushing so hard and I pushed myself a little bit too hard, but it's fine. I'm still looking forward to everything that's coming. I am also so excited to be able to see everybody's vlogs coming out of this weekend and how crazy it was. Literally sprinting almost every hour of the weekend. I mean, between all of the hosts doing sprints, there were so many going on and they were all so fun and unhinged. Like all day Saturday, the sprints were just so funny, nonsensical, crazy things happening. Leandra and I, you know, now have a forbidden love between our teams. It's just a whole thing and I just had so much fun this weekend. But on that note, that is everything I've got for here. I'm going to be combining weeks 2 and 3 of this month into one vlog that'll come after week 3 is over, just because of how this Gala of Peace turned out. So my vlogs are going to be a little bit shuffled after this, but I'm going to be able to combine some things just so I have a couple more books to talk about as well. But I'm so excited for everything to come. I am so glad that you are here and I would love to have you follow along with the rest of my journey reading in general, but especially with Realmathon, we will be finishing out the month. So I would love to have you along if you would like to subscribe and keep up with everything. Love to have you here. I am so thankful for you watching this video now, and I really hope that I will see you in the next one. Bye!